Lesson 11, percents. So a percent, the word itself means per 100. And I don't know if you guys remember, I don't know if it's last week or the week before where I told you the word per usually means divided by. Like of usually means times, per usually means divided by. So if you see a number like 25%, that just means 25 per 100 or 25 divided by 100. So the percent sign itself can just change right into a division bar with 100 under it. So if we want to change a percent to a fraction, we just write it as a fraction with 100 as a denominator and then reduce. I wanted to put with 100 as a denominator, not over. Have you guys ever seen a W with a little slash by it for width? Okay, so that just means width. So here's an example. If we have 40%, we want to write it as a fraction. We just write it with 40 over 100, then reduce, and we get 2/5. Now if we're given a fraction and we want to change it to a percent, there's three ways that we can do that. Okay, so the first way, let's call that way 1, is create an equivalent fraction with a denominator of 100. So we've been kind of working on this. Let's say we had 2/5 and we're going to times it by a fraction equal to 1 such that the denominator will be 100. So if you look at 5 goes into 120 times, so we would times 5 by 20 to get 100. We could times 2 by 20 and get 40. And since the denominator is 100, that would be 40%. The second way is to multiply by 100%, then simplify. So here's an example. If I had 2/5 and I wanted to change it to a percent, I could just multiply by 100% over 1. So that's 200% divided by 5, and when you do the division, you would get 40%. So that's the second way. The third way is to divide the numerator by the denominator and then move the decimal place to the right 2 places. So I'm just going to say divide numerator by denominator. Then move the decimal place, or the decimal point, 2 places to the right. So our example, if we had our fraction 2/5 and we wanted to change it to a percent, we would take the numerator, which is 2, divide it by the denominator. So after the 2, we would put a decimal and some zeros, bring our decimal up. 5 goes into 20 exactly 4 times. So 2/5 is the same thing as 4/10, and then you pick up the decimal point and move it 2 times. So we just go 1, 2, goes there. There's an empty spot here, so we put a 0, and that's our percent, 40%. So we're going to just do one example of like a problem that you might see in your homework lesson. What is 30% of 90? Now, when you see the word of, you want to remember that it, for the most part, of means to multiply. So we want to multiply 30% by 90, but we can't just multiply if the percent sign's there. We have to change it to a fraction first. So the percent means 30 over 100, so we'll just do 30 divided by 100 times 90 divided by 1. So the of just means times. We're going to cancel a couple zeros here. We'll take off we'll divide by 10. We'll divide by 10 again, and we get 3 times 9, which is 27. And that's the end of the lesson.